Herbert Spencer's What Knowledge is of Most Worth explores the philosophy of education and knowledge. The book, originally published in 1859, aims to establish a framework for understanding which types of knowledge are most valuable for individuals and society. Spencer presents his thoughts on education, knowledge acquisition, and the purpose of human life, focusing on how knowledge can be used to improve the human condition. In doing so, Spencer ties his discussions to broader philosophical concerns, including the role of science, morality, and social organization in the development of knowledge. This work is significant not only for its contribution to educational theory, but also for its engagement with questions that continue to be relevant in debates about the nature and purpose of learning. Spencer's central argument in What Knowledge is of Most Worth revolves around the idea that knowledge must be useful to both the individual and society. Unlike more abstract or theoretical forms of knowledge that focus solely on intellectual curiosity or metaphysical inquiries, Spencer emphasizes the importance of practical knowledge that can be applied to real-world problems and that directly contributes to the well-being of individuals and the progress of society. Spencer rejects the notion that the pursuit of knowledge should be an end in itself, disconnected from its utility or its capacity to improve life. He contends that education should be focused on equipping individuals with the knowledge necessary for survival, social integration, and individual flourishing, rather than engaging in knowledge for knowledge's sake. Spencer begins by categorizing knowledge into two broad types: knowledge of the sciences and knowledge of the humanities. For Spencer, knowledge of the sciences, particularly natural sciences, such as biology, physics, and chemistry, holds the greatest value because it provides individuals with an understanding of the natural world and the laws that govern it. By mastering scientific knowledge, individuals are better able to navigate the physical world, make informed decisions, and contribute to technological and social progress. Spencer argues that scientific knowledge is of most worth because it equips individuals with the tools needed for survival, improvement, and the optimization of life. Science, in his view, is not merely a theoretical enterprise, but a practical one that can be used to improve living conditions and solve pressing social problems. However, Spencer also acknowledges the importance of the humanities, which he views as a complementary form of knowledge. While the sciences provide individuals with practical tools and understanding of the natural world, the humanities such as history, literature, and ethics serve to cultivate moral and intellectual virtues. These subjects, according to Spencer, help individuals understand human nature, social relationships, and the values that sustain a functioning society. Spencer does not argue that the humanities should be abandoned in favor of scientific knowledge, but rather that the two should be balanced. He believes that a well-rounded education must integrate both scientific and humanistic knowledge, as each informs and enriches the other. While science provides a foundation for practical action, the humanities guide individuals in making ethical and informed decisions in the context of social life. Spencer's emphasis on the practical value of knowledge leads him to advocate for a system of education that prioritizes skills and subjects that are directly useful in everyday life. He argues that traditional education, particularly in his time, placed too much emphasis on classical languages, theology, and abstract philosophy, subjects that he believed had little practical utility for most people. Spencer criticizes the education system for focusing on subjects that may enrich the mind, but do little to prepare individuals for the demands of modern life. He suggests that education should focus on imparting knowledge that can be applied to the real world, such as skills related to work, health, and personal development. In his vision of an ideal education system, students would learn how to make a living, maintain good health, and navigate the challenges of family and social life. In this way, Spencer's educational philosophy is deeply connected to his broader view of human life as one focused on practical, ongoing improvement. At the same time, Spencer is aware of the need for a foundation of general knowledge. He does not advocate for a purely vocational education, but rather a form of education that balances specialized knowledge with a broad understanding of human life and society. For Spencer, the purpose of education is not just to produce workers or professionals, but to develop individuals who are capable of critical thought, ethical reflection, and social participation. He emphasizes the importance of understanding the physical, moral, and intellectual aspects of human existence, which is why he insists that scientific education should not overshadow the cultivation of moral values and intellectual development. For Spencer, the aim of education is to produce well-rounded individuals who are capable of fulfilling their personal potential and contributing to the collective well-being of society. Spencer's ideas about the utility of knowledge are also influenced by his broader philosophical beliefs about evolution and progress. Spencer's theory of evolution, which he applies not just to biology, but to social and intellectual life, informs his view that knowledge should be progressive. He believes that knowledge evolves in a way that mirrors the natural development of life forms, becoming increasingly complex and specialized over time. This evolutionary view of knowledge underpins his argument that education must be adapted to the needs of society as it evolves. In the modern world, Spencer argues, knowledge must focus on advancing human understanding in ways that address contemporary challenges and future needs. Thus, the most valuable knowledge is that which evolves in response to the shifting demands of society, particularly in the context of industrialization, urbanization, and scientific progress. In addition to advocating for a practical evolving approach to education, Spencer also makes an important distinction between different forms of knowledge and how they relate to the development of moral and social values. While scientific knowledge is crucial for understanding the natural world, Spencer believes that moral knowledge, particularly the knowledge of how to live harmoniously in society, is equally important. Spencer argues that morality is not a fixed set of principles, but rather a field of knowledge that develops alongside society. As societies become more complex and interdependent, individuals must increasingly rely on moral reasoning to navigate their relationships with others. Spencer contends that the development of moral knowledge is essential to the smooth functioning of society, as it fosters cooperation, trust, and mutual respect among individuals. Spencer also addresses the role of government and social institutions in the development and dissemination of knowledge. He is critical of excessive state intervention in education and social affairs, advocating instead for a more decentralized approach to knowledge production and distribution. Spencer believes that the state should not impose a prescribed curriculum or dictate what knowledge is of most worth. Instead, he argues that knowledge should be determined by the needs and interests of individuals and communities, with education being largely a private matter. In this respect, Spencer's views reflect his broader philosophical commitment to individualism and limited government intervention.